Hey everybody, saw a post on Facebook today. Yes, I still use Facebook, and so do lots of people. Don't act like it doesn't exist. It exists. Billions of people still use it. Okay. Anyways, just FYI. Let me close the door. Oh boy. So anyway, I was on Facebook today, and I saw a post of these little billboards, these little signs, of almost like the hard laminated cardboard that's usually like bright colors. Usually it's yellow or white. And it had all this information about these numbers and who to ask for when you call and all this stuff that you could travel all around the world and get paid this much and all this weird stuff. And it's funny because when you think about that, that sounds like sex trafficking. You get paid all this money and you get to travel around the world. Because some people who get sex trafficked do get paid. And some of them obviously do not. And there's pimps and stuff involved that take some of the money and all this stuff. But anyways, I was appalled at how open this was, and it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, there's accounts on Instagram that are trying to reel people into sex trafficking, and there's accounts on Facebook that are trying to reel people into sex trafficking, and there's accounts on Snapchat, there's accounts on everything that try to reel people into sex trafficking. And I guarantee you that when MySpace was still a thing, there was stuff on there. It's very up to date. It's very hip. They hop on everything all the time. Okay. Obviously, these are all fake names. These are all fake places, and there's really no information about who these people really are. You can't really expose them. There are all these troll profiles, just getting away with murder. At least they think they are, There's Freemasons involved with the stuff. I'm not saying all Freemasons are bad. They're not. But there's Freemasons involved with this stuff. There's all kinds of little secret societies that aren't really secret involved with this type of stuff. Florida is one of the number one places. I had an incident one time where these trucks were following me, and it was really weird. I was walking down the street, and this car was parked, and I just didn't go that way. And then I was walking down another street because I turned onto a different street. I was walking, and this car was going really slow. And every time it would come towards me, I would run up to a light or next to a house that was the people were obviously awake in the house. This was nighttime. And the car would just eventually speed past. And it kept going around and around, up and down that road over and over again, and circling around and going back up the road. And every time it came near me, it would slow down. It was really creepy, okay? So finally, I turned the corner. I was like, all right, this is one of the main streets. There's going to be a lot of cars. I'll be safe here. And there wasn't a lot of cars. And I felt okay. And then I turned another corner, and there's this truck, like, in the entrance of this parking lot. And it's just waiting there. So then I walk the other way. I walk backwards. And then the truck, like, speeds away. And then it comes back around, and it comes back towards me. And I'm like, you know what? This is fucking weird. Because when they sex traffic people, a lot of the times they use trucks. I'm like, all right. And these were two different vehicles. This happened with 3 vehicles that night that were doing this to me, okay? It was really late at night. It was probably almost 3 in the morning. It was really late. Probably shouldn't have been outside that time of night, but I'm not scared of shit like this. So I was like, all right, cool. I gunned it. I kind of ran down the street because I don't want to be sex trafficked, obviously. And that was very weird. That was my only experience with that. But I've had other experiences where cars have slowed down behind me and I had to kind of go the other way, and then eventually they would speed off. I've had a lot of experiences like that. It's becoming a plague on society. They're like mosquitoes at this point. It's a really big problem. We need more undercover officers. We need more investigations going on. We need these things to be more exposed. Now, a lot of these things are being exposed now because our president, Donald Trump, is putting together a lot of operations that are bringing a lot of these things to light. Most of it's not on the news. Once in a while, you might see some of it on the news, but most of it's not on the news. It should be on the news, but it's not. When a kid goes missing, that should be a national emergency. I mean, if one kid goes missing, it should be a national emergency. You have no idea what's going to happen to that kid. The whole world should hear about that kid. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. They should have SWAT, FBI, National Guard, Navy SEAL. They should have everybody looking for that kid. Okay? That's how I think about it. Now, I know there's corruption in the Navy SEALs, and there's corruption in the military, and I know that there's some military leaders that are involved in sex trafficking, because why wouldn't there be? I mean, come on now. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And there's actors. Tom Hanks uses sex trafficking and stuff. And that's not a lie, I mean, these things really happen. And I think Quentin Tarantino, however the fuck you say his name, Dan Schneider might be, I don't know. But and he was the guy that ran Nickelodeon. Not he didn't run Nickelodeon, but he made Drake and Josh and Keenan and Kel and helped with all that and stuff, and the Amanda Show, and what happened to Amanda, and all this stuff going on. It's all connected. They just are. There's a bunch of pedophiles and a bunch of just perverted, sick people who like to torment other people, and they want to keep doing it, and they don't want it to be exposed and all this stuff. And there's gangs that are involved. There's Crips and Bloods, and there's Latin Kings, and there's Black Disciples. There's a bunch of different gangs involved with sex trafficking. Gangs you've probably never heard of, secret societies you've probably never heard of. They're all involved in sex trafficking. It's a really big problem. We should legalize prostitution. That would damage some of it. And then we should lower the age of consent to 16, and that would damage a little more of it. But it's really hard to put a dent in it, because you can't really legalize sex trafficking. I mean, well, you could actually. You could legalize prostitution, like you could say it's global prostitution, where you could have a woman travel to these different places and she has her own security guards, almost like a prostitution on tour. Almost like a prostitute who's on tour, You could do something like that and make that legal, for sure. Have like a bus full of women who are getting paid to do this, and have security guards and stuff like that, who get paid a lot of fucking money, so they're less likely to be bribed and stuff like that. Get good, hardworking people who actually care about these women, and pay these women to, they can still have sex with men that, pay them, but then it's no longer illegal. And I think that some of these sick freaks could get just as much of a kick out of that as illegal sex trafficking. I think the only reason they do this is because there's no other way to do it. Some of these guys, they don't think they're sick. They think, hey, it should be legal. I guarantee you some of them vouch for it being legal. But, it's complicated. But, I don't know. It needs to be put to an end. And I'm really angry about it. Because that could be my cousin. That could be my daughter. That could be... And I don't have a daughter, but one day I might have a daughter. I want to have at least one daughter one day. I would hate for her to be sex trafficked, or my anyone I know. God forbid, like one of my friends or something. It sucks, and that's really horrible. And anyone that has a relationship like that with any woman or any girl at all, should feel this way. Like you don't want them to be sex trafficked. It's horrible, and they're kidnapping children and stuff like that. It's just really bad. It's really bad. Most of the time, when a kid goes missing, it is because of sex trafficking. I'm pretty sure there was a girl in my school, in high school, who was being sex trafficked. You know, she wouldn't show up to school a lot. And when she did show up to school, she just always looked very down and depressed. And then she kind of just disappeared. And then all of a sudden, she was rich and she was at all these hotels and she was all over Instagram. And something just wasn't right, you know, and I always knew there was something wrong. I tried to reach out to her, she didn't respond, you know. Well, just weird stuff like that would happen. Anyways, and she had the perfect name for a girl that would be sex trafficked. I'm not going to say it, but it's just such a perfect little name that they would love because I just know how these people think. Anyways, love you guys, and she was a beautiful girl. She had blonde hair and was white and she had blue eyes, and you know, I just knew something was happening. Anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll be back in a flash. Do your part, as PewDiePie says. But this time we're gonna help expose sex trafficking, just like Avicii tried to do before he killed himself, just like Chester Bennington tried to do before he killed himself, just like the singer of was it Korn or Soundgarden? I don't remember. Chris Cornell, right before he killed himself, he was trying to expose sex trafficking too. A lot of the people that mysteriously killed themselves investigating Hillary Clinton, right? That all had to do with sex trafficking. That's how big of a business it is, okay? It's one of the biggest businesses, if not the biggest business. Probably the second biggest business. Because there's an even bigger one than that. But we won't go into that yet. Anyways, I'll be back in a flash.